Hey internet, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a MECCA haul video for you. I'm really excited because it means I get to start using this stuff more seriously. I have tested some of these items already and I've swatched almost all of them, so I have a bit of an opinion. I feel like haul videos are more useful if the person has at least tried the item, so they can kind of give you a little bit of like first impression feedback, probably not like long-term impression. But I actually do have quite a few haul videos coming up over the next few months. I've been shopping a lot, which is kind of the result of the last 2 years. I haven't really been buying anything the last 2 years in terms of makeup. I've been working from home very consistently, so I just default to the same makeup, which you would have seen in my working from home video. I just really haven't had a need to experiment, but things are opening up, so we'll get to go out more, which I'm really excited for. Also, since moving into this space, I actually ended up decluttering almost like half my collection or something insane. Like I threw out a lot of makeup because it was expired. It wasn't doing so well anymore. So I ended up missing a few items that I wanted. But for this particular haul video, I have picked up a lot of eyeshadow palettes, which is probably the one makeup item I didn't really need more of. But eyeshadow palettes always just draw me in. I think it's the same like watercolor palettes or anything where you have like a range of colors. It's just so enticing. So I'll be going through a lot of palettes today. But anyways, let's just get right into it. So the first item I picked up is this Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. So this foundation is not that new. I think it's been out for quite a while now, but I've seen some really good reviews online. So I decided to pick it up, try it myself. I'm wearing it right now and I love it so much. I almost feel like this is my new favorite foundation for the moment. Like, the consistency is really nice. It goes on really, it blends out really well. The coverage is great. I think it's kind of like a medium that you can build up to a full coverage. Probably leans more to full coverage. I love how you can dispense it. It's clean. I don't know. I just love it so much. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be using this one a lot. And when I run out, I'm definitely going to pick up another one. It's so good. To be honest, I don't think I've tried any of Charlotte Tilbury's foundations, so this is the first one. So I'm kind of curious to try the others to see if they're just as good, but this is hands down one of my favorites right now. Highly recommend it. And for those who are interested, I'm in 2 neutral, and that's actually a really good match for my skin tone right now. So I also picked up this tiny little Stila palette. It is called 2UI Palette Hangang Sunset. So I've been actually eyeing this particular palette for quite a while now on the MECCA site. I don't know, no one's talked about it. I generally really love Stila eyeshadows, especially Kitten. Kitten is probably my most favorite eyeshadow shade from the Stila range. And it's just a beautiful, compact, easy to use neutral palette. It's got two mattes. I think the last one is more satin than matte, and then more, yeah, I don't know, two to three mattes. I can't tell what the last one is because this darker brown sort of applies matte, but also has a little bit of micro shimmers in it. Either way, these are really easy to apply, very pigmented. Stila eyeshadows generally are really good that way. I'm wearing most of the colors of my eyes at the moment. I've added a few extras from different palettes, but for the most part, this is mostly it. And yeah, it's really a no-brainer. So I love how compact it is, really good to travel with. So love this one as well. Another palette I picked up, it's another one that I've been eyeing for a really long time. It's the Smashbox Cali Contour. So I've had this on my wish list for almost 2 years now, on my MECCA wish list. So I tend to go through MECCA every time there's new makeup. I'll add it all to my wish list, and then when I'm ready to do a purchase, I'll go through the wish list and then just kind of pick out the ones that have been there for the longest. And if I still want them, then I know that I want them. But this contour palette I've actually seen in a lot of Project Pan communities and them finishing it up. And I feel like if I see the same palettes turning up in those Project Pan communities, then my mind thinks they must be good, right? There's a lot of Anastasia Beverly Hill palettes, a lot of e.l.f. palettes, and yeah, this one came up a lot. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna bite the bullet, finally try it, and I really like it. I've only used the contour shade, and I think that's the only shade I've used so far. It's really pigmented, blends really well, smooth, buttery. So I'm really keen to try all the other shades and see what they're like. When I swatched them, they all seem pretty good. I don't think if you have a deeper complexion, this would work because it feels like it's more for lighter complexions. That's the feeling I get. I feel like the color range is quite narrow, but they all complement each other. So that's what I really liked about it. Like your blush color is still, to be honest, the blush color, which is just this one here, is still quite, I'm going to bring it close to my face so you can focus. This one it looks very similar to the other shades, right? In person, it's a little bit more warm peachy tone, so it's a bit more of a blush shade. But yeah, they're all kind of like in the same color family, which is, I think, what I really like about this. A lot of contour palettes that you usually get, they can range a lot, and that's great. Maybe if you're a makeup artist, or I don't know, you're using it on, like, different people with different complexions are using it. But for me, there's no point having ultra dark and ultra light shades in the same palette, just because I wouldn't use one side of the palette, so it feels a bit wasteful. I mean, I guess I could repurpose it for eyeshadow or something, but it doesn't feel as like altogether functional, whereas I feel like I could throw this into my bag if I was traveling and I'd be set for highlight, contour, and blush. Okay, so this one was a little bit more of an impulse purchase because it recently came out about a month ago. This is the NARS Summer Unrated eyeshadow palette. It came out with their recent summer range. I think NARS released, I definitely saw the blush and bronzer duo. I saw this eyeshadow palette, and I saw something else. I don't know if it was like a lip product or something like that. I don't really need any more blush and bronzer duos. I actually still have some old ones from NARS which are still going strong, so I'm gonna just keep using those. But when I saw this palette, the thing that really stood out to me is just that you have like a whole column of mattes, and I feel like these colors in general, they're very usable for me. I'm a neutral person through and through. I will always tend to lean toward neutral colors, but there are some like pinker colors which I feel comfortable, I feel like safe going down the pink route so long as it's sheared out. I really wish I was getting a little bit more, I want to be a little bit more daring and push the envelope a bit and try more outrageous colors. I feel like back in the day when I was first starting YouTube, I was very comfortable going ham on all sorts of strong colors. Now that I'm a little bit older, I tend to just lean to slightly more conservative colors that don't draw too much attention, and I focus more on like the quality, I guess, less about like those coastal scent palettes. Back in the day, those were like all the rage. That was my actual go-to palette that I would use even when I went to work or out with friends, and I would just like frosty blue eyeshadow. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I actually really envy people who can pull that off. I'm not quite able to pull that off at the moment. Maybe I will learn. That's kind of why I want to keep coming back to YouTube and doing makeup videos, because I feel like it's going to help push me out of my comfort zone a little bit more, and I'll be able to try out some more avant-garde looks in my everyday life, not just for YouTube, but just in general. Thing I will say is that I think there's like two glitter shades in here. I think it's this one and this one down here. I'm not sure, I haven't actually tried that one. I just swatched this one. The glitter shades are a little bit more on the patchy side. They're probably more used as toppers, like for the center of the lid. So you might just have to use your finger and then just dab that on, or use a synthetic brush or something. But overall, I quite like it. Even the mattes were really strong in this one. And the next palette I'm going to show you, I didn't find the mattes to be that impressive, whereas the mattes here I actually really like. So this is a limited edition palette though, so it's probably not going to stick around for too much longer, maybe a few more months. I had like, kind of two minds about buying and using limited edition palettes, because if I use this in a look in the future or something, people won't be able to buy it. But at the same time, how do you say, I'm doing this for fun. The videos are for fun, so I just want to buy what I naturally would buy, and I naturally wanted to buy this. The next palette I wanted to mention was this one. This has been around for a long time now. I'm more surprised that I don't have it, because I'm a bit of a collector, if you don't know, and I like to have like the full set of things. And for some reason I never picked this one up. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I feel like there's probably a ton of reviews online on this, so you probably won't learn much from me, given all I've done is really swatch this palette so far. It's got a lot of great neutral shades, so that's one of the reasons I picked it up. I guess the main reason I went ahead and picked it up is because there's a YouTuber I started watching, Cali, and she raves about the Naked Honey palette so much. Like, she says it's one of her favorite palettes and she uses it really often. And generally, I'm a big fan of the Urban Decay Naked range. I feel like I've got quite a few of the palettes. I've traveled with quite a lot of them. They're easy to work with, the colors are blendable. It really just comes down to the color story and if it's something that resonates with you. So when she kept talking about this one, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna buy it and just try it out. I haven't used it on my eyes yet, I've just done swatches. I was not super impressed with the lighter matte shades. I felt like they were too light, not pigmented enough. I don't know, but it could work out differently. I mean, maybe I won't reach for them as much and I'll go for the darker shades. I have been trying to, yeah, like I said, be a little bit more out there with my makeup and less conservative. So maybe it will work out. But yes, so far first impressions, I'm like, okay, let's see. This is no like, you know, the original Naked palette, Naked 2, even Naked 3. Those palettes are still like, I love those ones. They're so rich, buttery, pigmented. This one, a little less. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then I purchased one more palette. It is a massive palette. I don't usually buy such huge palettes because I find them to be difficult to work with. They're not very functional, but this is the Morphe and Pony collaboration Constellation Sky. So I have quite a few Morphe palettes. I find that I don't use them very often because they're quite large, and because they're so large, it's hard to kind of like, it can't fit in my makeup drawer. I couldn't put it in a makeup bag, and I don't want to just kind of leave a gigantic palette just sitting on my desk and taking up half the space. I need my desk for other reasons. So then these end up just kind of getting stored away and then they don't get used. However, I do find that Morphe eyeshadows, at least the newer ones, I've generally found them to be quite good. I know there's a lot of controversy and stuff, but if I just put that aside and I just think about the eyeshadows themselves, I find them quite good. But I don't, like, I'm not really out looking for Morphe palettes nowadays, because one, I have quite a lot, but also there's just so many other brands that I would rather try. The main reason I bought this is actually because of Pony. Pony is like, if you don't know, an amazing Korean YouTuber. She has the best skin, and I don't know how her makeup always turns out so flawless. Like, I will literally watch her videos, to video tutorials step by step. I will try to recreate what she's doing, and I look like crap. I'll follow everything she does, but I don't know what it is. I think it's just like her technique and her skin. Like, when she puts foundation on, I almost can't tell she's wearing foundation because her skin is perfection even before the foundation. I'm like, how is that possible? I need to know what she's doing to achieve such beautiful skin. And she's just so perfect. So I just love her. And so when she came up with this palette, I think she came up with a few other things, but like, to be honest, I knew that a palette I would probably use, other things I may not use as much. So I went and picked this up, and it is beautiful. It is massive. That's the only major criticism, is just like, it's just so big. Like, how am I ever going to use this up? And where am I going to put this? Like, I'm probably going to have to make a concerted effort to have this out like on weeks, like this week I'm just going to use this palette. And it might actually be possible, because I think, I could be wrong, I am kind of just assuming based on what I've seen online, but the smaller pans are all eyeshadow palettes. I mean, you can use them for whatever you want, to be honest. Powders are powders, and then the middle ones are like, I can't do this, I have to do this. The middle ones here are cheek products. So I've done a few swatches. So far, okay. I found the mattes were really good. Some of the satin finishes were really good. This one here, Ruby, I swatched this one. It was really light, like a lot lighter than I thought it would be. I also tried this blush, Delagi. I know that there's a story behind each of the names. Like, if you watch her video, she talks about it. So be sure to check out her video if you want more detail on the palette, because I know nothing. I just bought it because I love her. But yeah, some of these are a lot sheerer than I thought they were going to be, and then some of them are like incredibly rich and pigmented. So I think because there's cheek products and eye products, I can actually probably get away with using this more. I think if it was just eyeshadow, it would be a little bit more of a struggle, but some of these shades are just so nice, right? Like this one here, it's just so unique. Some of them have designs in them, so I can tell, like these ones with rose and the moon over here, like they have these pressed designs in. I'm probably not going to be using them straight away, because like the collector in me is like, I don't want to like destroy that, which is going to be hard, because Sarang, this one here, this is like a go-to taupe crease color for me. Like every single time I look for crease colors, I tend to gravitate towards this one. So that's going to be really hard not to touch that one and try and use. But, you know, again, it's going to force me out of my comfort zone. Maybe I'll have some more purple looks, some more blue looks. And the thing is, though, some of these shades are a little bit more jewel chromish than they give off. So like Ruby, I found it pretty sheer, but when I started swatching it, I realized that there's like hints of blues in there and not just purples and blues, depending on how you reflect it. So I really like it. It's a really beautiful palette. I don't know if I could recommend it to everyone because like I probably wouldn't recommend it to friends, but if you're a fan of Pony and you love colorful eyeshadows or want to try colorful eyeshadows, but you don't want to be like going straight into the rainbow, this might actually not be a bad entry level palette to try. The last item is really not that new. I actually already have this. It is the Becca, it's basically Champagne Pop, the highlighter from Becca. So during the pandemic, I know Becca ended up shutting down shop. I was really sad about it because I've really tried to invest more in Australian brands where I can. I know that there's not a ton of Australian makeup brands, and I would really want to I really want to get into like Asian cosmetics and Australian brands. I feel like the American brands and the European brands always get so much coverage as it is online. So I wanted more representation, and Becca was actually, at least from what I've read, was actually an Australian brand that became successful overseas. I got my hairs all messed up. So it's kind of sad to lose an Australian brand, especially one that was so highly regarded, like a luxurious brand. A lot of the Australian brands that I'm more familiar with are more like drugstore makeup, so Nude by Nature, Australis, Face of Australia. They're all stuff that you would find in Priceline. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I wanted a bigger range. And I think Napoleon Purtis is probably the only luxury cosmetic line, Australian luxury cosmetic line I can think of now that's still available. MECCA was right up there. I do have quite a few MECCA products because I love them. Champagne Pop, which was invented in collaboration with Jaclyn Hill, who's a YouTuber, really is a cult favorite. So when the company went out of business, I was really upset. I was like looking for a Champagne Pop backup, which is basically what this is, because I do have a Champagne Pop highlighter, which I use quite often, but it's the only one I have. So once it's gone, it's gone. So I was hoping to buy one, but they didn't have any on their website anymore, and you could find resellers on eBay marking up the price by like 3-4 times. So I'm like, no, that's not worth it. So I was really happy when I saw that Smashbox is bringing them back with Becca. This is the box, so that's why you have Smashbox on here. So I'm really glad that I held out, so I didn't cave and buy into those like awful resellers that are just like, no, they're not awful, I shouldn't say that, but like really I cannot justify paying $200 for highlighter, like no. So when I saw it come back online, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna keep this, and now I don't feel so bad about using up the one that I currently have. But this is a beautiful, as the name would suggest, a champagne-like highlighter, very pigmented. So if you haven't used it, give it a shot. I really like it. I just not swatching this one because I don't want to get it dirty, given that I'm still in the process of using the other one, and I would swatch the other one, but it's not here right now, so that's just great for me. So yeah, that is everything in my MECCA haul. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it interesting. Let me know what you think. If you've tried any of these and you like them, if you have any other products you'd recommend. I probably don't need to buy more makeup. I've got 3 or 4 other hauls coming sometime this year. I'm kind of spacing them out based on the previous video of life update, because I'm just not sure what my timing is like. So I'm going to try and film them as much as I can and then space them out so that there's still content coming up. Hopefully I'll have a lot of time and so I can bring in the timeline. But yeah, anyways, that's enough talking. Anyways, that's enough delving. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to the internet.